everyone, so today I'm babysitting little Miss Megan, so I thought that while I was doing that, I would get around to doing the video I've been meaning to do for a while, which is my favourite cloth nappies to use when I'm babysitting. For any of you out there, because there are quite a lot of you I think who watch my videos who do use cloth nappies or cloth diaper, whatever you want to call them, and I just figured it might be helpful to know what, from the point of a babysitter, what I find the easiest and what I don't like using and all that kind of stuff. So let's go into it. So Miss Megan's just going to sit here with me and hopefully she's going to spit up because she's very refluxy at the moment. But here are all the nappies I've just grabbed out to talk to you about. So one of my favourites to use are fitteds. I love using fitted covers just because I find that they work great and I've never had a leak or an issue with them, plus they're really simple to use. The best fitted, I think, for especially babysitters who don't usually use cloth is this one. Little Lamb. They come in two sizes and they have a very short rise, so they don't last for that long, but they're really, really simple to use. I don't know if you would use fleece liners or paper liners. Most of mine use fleece and I'm fine with that, but this is so simple because there's no snaps to confuse you. It's literally just a tab to use. And I know some people don't like Velcro, but they really are so easy to use for babysitting, and you just have to make sure that these are tight around the legs, are tight around the butt, but it's very difficult to go wrong with this one. The covers are a bit more complicated, obviously, because of all the snaps, but you can get Velcro covers, so a Velcro cover is pretty easy to use again. But you do have to explain about these snaps, because sometimes they can be quite confusing, because people think that these snaps up here connect to these ones, when in actual fact, you know, like obviously the bottom snap rises up to this one to take some of the length out of it, and all of them do that. So yeah, fitteds are definitely one of my favourites. All-in-ones, again, I love. What are you up to, Missy Moo? What are you up to? All-in-ones are another popular, and this is the Bamboo Easy Dry. This is the small size, or the newborn size, I think. But as you can see on the inside, it's super simple, so it's really easy for someone like me to know how to use it. I mean, obviously I can use pretty much all of them. I can do pre-folds and everything, but it's just when I started off, this was definitely easier. So this one has a bamboo velour side and a suede cloth side. So obviously if your little one is sensitive, you'll have to tell them that the white part goes in and this part goes over the top. But you know, it's pretty simple to do. You don't have to unsnap anything or stuff it or anything. It's there ready to go to put on, and it has the snaps here, which are pretty easy to do as well. So I think this is a great nappy, especially for babysitting. The Bum Genius, I'm not a fan of the Elemental, but this is the free time, and I do actually really like this one. It's especially good when it's out in its full length, because, let me get this open, because you only have these two flaps to open up, and you know, you just place them on top of the other. If it needs boosting, then obviously it'd be a good idea to have the booster in here already, but it is a pretty absorbent nappy, so I think a lot of people do like these ones. Yeah, kick. Do like these ones. Again, you've got to explain about these because they can be quite confusing. People thinking that, you know, you need to bring this round and down to here, and obviously that's not how it works. If you do need to take length out, I recommend, you probably will already have done this because you don't unsnap them every time you wash them, but have them, make sure they are all snapped into the right length setting so that people don't get confused, because that can definitely be quite confusing, all these snaps, as I said before. That's all in one. And these ones that Miss Megan's got her hand on here, this is one of my favourites. These are all-in-twos, and I'll get this open. So this particular all-in-two is by Tuppence and Tails. These are great, they fit great, but the best thing is that because the minky on the inside matches more often than not the outside of the nappy, so it's really difficult to get confused with these ones. You always know which one fits which, and also it's just a tri-fold, so it's really simple to do. One in, the other one in. Oi, oi, oi. Other one in, and then you tuck it under the back bit here. And I usually just put it, I don't bother with the front bit, even though this does have belly elastic. I just tuck that in there, pull this around her, and tuck these bits up before I put that up. But it's really easy to put on, and I love how you can adjust the hip setting. Oh, she's gonna grab that in a second. The hip snap as well as the belly snap, just because it helps to get a better fit, especially with the side snap nappies. So I love them. Nappies that I don't like are pockets. Now I know this is kind of a bummer for a lot of people because most people use pockets in pre-folds, but I just hate them. This is a really nice one by Charlie Banana, but yeah, I really don't like them because I don't like unstuffing them at the end. However, if you use pockets, as long as you make sure that you don't insist they have to take the insert out, which I'm sure I've never been told by any of the mums that I need to do that, but I always feel like I should, because you know you're supposed to before you put it in the wash bag or the wet bag or whatever you're putting them into. But this is the Charlie Banana one size. Again, make sure this is in the right size. And it is pretty easy to put on when it's stuffed. Let me open it up. As you can see, there's nothing confusing on the inside, and if you just use fleece as the lining instead of a paper liner as well, then it's really simple. So again, with the snaps it can be a little bit more confusing, but again, you can put it on. And the inside, there's nothing that looks confusing, so it's really easy to put on as long as you tell them not to worry about this flap. But again, as I said, unstuffing it is always a bit of an iffy point for me. I don't mind doing it too much, but sorting out soiled nappies, especially poopy nappies, is sometimes a bit off-putting. So maybe just have another wet bag. Well, actually, this is what the mums do with me. They say they give me 2 wet bags, and they ask me to put one that's just wee in one of the wet bags and any poo or any solids into the other one. Lastly, this one is more of a demonstration one. This is the Bamboo Tea Basics nappy. Let me open it up again. So this one is again really simple to use, but you do obviously, as I said before, make sure that these snaps are all sorted out in the lengthwise, and explain about the elastics needing to be tight, but no gaping, but not too tight around the legs and everything like that. This is really easy because you don't have to add any covers over the top, so they are pretty good for that. But again, you sometimes do need to fold them, and it's got the booster in it as well, which can be quite a pain, especially if you're not sure how much they need to be boosted or how much you need to add into them. So as you can see, this is the all-in 2 I've got on her. It is quite bulky, but it's really, really absorbent, and there's a nice fit around her legs and also around her tummy because there's belly elastic, so it's not going to gape at the front or at the back. You want to turn over for me? Get around here. Yeah, it's nice and tight right against the back. It just doesn't want to move over. So yeah, it's a really nice fitting nappy, and it's really simple to use. So of all of these, the ones I really don't like using that I haven't got here are pre-folds and flats. They're really confusing, and often if you have a little regular like this one, it's really hard to get the pre-fold and the snappy to work together really well, especially if you're kind of new to it and you don't do it all the time. So yeah, the pre-folds and the flats just aren't my favourite at all, but I really do like the fitteds and the all-in-ones and the all-in-twos. These are expensive, I know, so I don't really expect people to have these types. But yeah, they are really good nappies. This one I'm not so keen on actually. When I'm putting it on, it just tends to do some weird stuff up here, but they do fit really well. So in general, the all-in-ones and the fitteds are my favourites. Don't like pockets unless they make sure they don't have to unstuff them, but often these leak on me for some reason around here, and I make sure, you know, the insert's flat. I make sure it's got the right absorbency inside, I make sure there's no gaping, but always it likes to leak on me. So I'm not a big fan of pockets. Oh, bless you. If you are looking to, you know, use cloth nappies, and I hope this kind of helped you to get an idea of what might work for babysitters. Obviously, I've done this quite a few times because Megan's in disposables, but the other 2 I look after are both in cloth. It just so happened I had her on a Friday when I make a video, and I just figured, you know, it might be useful. But Velcro is definitely the easiest closure for a complete beginner to use. Snaps are okay, but they can be confusing when you've got rise snaps as well as the waist snaps. Good fitting and nappies that are boosted to the right point where they don't need extra boosting are good as well, so you don't have to worry about, for me, I always worry about whether they've got enough in there, and I always make sure that the mothers have them boosted to the right absorbency before they give them to me, so that there's no leaking issues. And yeah, so all-in-ones and fitteds and covers are my favourite. Pockets and flats and pre-folds are not my favourite. I can use all of them, but I just don't like them that much. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.